After you've decided on the conditions for your variables, you'll then want to go back up to where your actual problem was, so where the actual question was at. So remember, in our case, we were asking what is x plus y. So this particular example is a little self-explanatory. In this example, what do we want to do with those two variables? Add them. But the program doesn't know that. We have to actually tell it what we're looking for. So if you scroll down a little bit and find the area where it says formula, in that space is where we're going to actually tell it that we want to add the variables x and y. So you'll actually need to go ahead and type in with those braces the different variables and give it the function that we will be adding them together. You'll notice that on this right-hand side there's this question symbol, and if you click on that, it kind of gives you a guide for the different ways we would show our formulas. You'll notice a lot of it's very similar to when we're actually using a calculator, how we would input some of those functions, but this is a quick guide for you to help you if you're not sure if you're entering it correctly. After you enter a formula, you then have to decide what type of a precision you want. Now remember, we're using a computer program, and just if we think about the same thing with calculators, depending on how it's entered, it can sometimes be a little fussy. So we do want to think about what precision we're looking for. In this case, we're looking at by tenths. So do you want it to be that they have to have it according to the tenths place? And if they don't, even if it's 0, it would be marked wrong. So that's really what this category started looking at. So do we want to make sure that they have the precision we're looking for? And there is this tolerance, so it gives us a little grace in case the students may have input it incorrectly, just a little bit off. So maybe we want to make it by 5/100ths of a place value to just give that little bit of tolerance as they're entering it into this program. But you can choose to not do that. You do have to put something for the tolerance, but you can decide how much of a grace you want for that or not. The other thing that this allows you to do is actually decide on units. So if your problem was about apples, we could put that actual unit within here. If we're talking about pounds, that could be entered in here. And it has an option as a program to give a point value if they forgot to actually use their units. But that's really kind of personal discretion on if you would be using that. And you'll notice that based on the units, we can choose to be case insensitive or case sensitive or regular expression. I usually leave it at this first one. We don't want to have it marked wrong just because they didn't capitalize the unit or something like that. Now, once you've decided on these conditions, what the formula is, what type of precision we're looking for, and the tolerance that we have, you can test out your formula to see if it's working in the program. So you'll notice in this one, it auto-populated that x was going to be 13, y was going to be -3. So in theory, we're taking the 13 to the 1/10th place plus the -3. So we have our total solution. Then it gives you the range of the grace period of what students could select when they input it into the problem. If you realize that you set up something incorrectly, this is where you go and fix it. But based on our conditions, we could do anything between 0 and 20 to a 10th place. And for this one, it was between -5 and 5, but we were leaving it as whole numbers. So we were okay in this particular example. Another neat feature that you'd want to see is not only can you enter it and test the values, but you can preview and see what would this question really look like for students. So in this case, students are going to see that same feature where we have our particular example, and then this is where students will enter it into the text box, and you'll notice what we're looking for as a considered correct answer for this problem. And this is the process that you would use as you're building those arithmetic questions.